If I had my way, everything would be so nice. This world would be like Paris. No, it would be a paradise. No one would ever have to say, I'm gonna get my wish someday. All one would have to do is say, this is my order, if you may.
Welcome to another episode of The School Without Walls. I am the founding host, Anthony O. Hobbs. The purpose of this program primarily is to try to reach the African American community, especially the young males. So I have with me Reverend Johnny Smith, the pastor of Shallow Missionary Baptist Church, who's done a wonderful job in mentoring young people and involving adults to also work with him as mentors. What we want to do is stress the importance of speaking standard English, not putting anybody down who speaks his mother tongue, which is a colloquial language, but we got to speak the language of commerce, and that's standard English. We got to be able to speak in a way by which we can work in public and get some of the better jobs. Also, we're concerned about African American history and culture. In February, that was African American Month, and we here at the School Without Walls made a commitment to continue emphasizing the importance of African Americans to have their history taught 12 months out of a year, and we're encouraging pastors to work with us and all persons of leadership here in the community under the sound of my voice. As a matter of fact, I understand, Reverend Smith, that a lot of our alumni throughout the world watch the program. Okay. I'm getting feedback on that. That's so right. Throughout the world, brothers and alumni members, we want you to support the idea of learning your history like all other ethnic groups know their history. How to dress for success. I've seen a lot of success, haven't you, in the last 3 or 4 years?
Yes, sir.
Very seldom do you see a youngster walk around like he got a bunch of bricks in his pants. You understand? Right. We're making progress. We thank God for it. And how to respect authority. We kind of working at it a little bit, right?
Yes, sir.
We have too many in jail now.
Right.
See, if you learn to respect authority, policemen represent authority as well as parents and so forth, you probably won't get in jail. Now, Brother Smith, tell me what you've done since the last time we met as far as mentoring and so forth.
I think we were here about, year before last, around 2010, 2011 or so.
Right.
And we were in the initial stages, and we were at maybe two schools, two elementary schools.
Of Dollaway community, right?
In the Dollaway and Pine Bluff community.
Oh, both of them.
Just, I think one school in each district. Since then, we've been asked to have a presence in other schools, and so right now we're in about 7 schools in both districts, and we required I think a total of maybe 200 or 300 young men who actually attend our weekly meetings throughout all the schools.
Very good.
And we have more mentors who are acting.
How many active adult mentors do you have?
I think we may have about 40, 50.
About 40 or 50
adults who are basically part of our weekly efforts and who are positioned to be called on at any time to help us with some events and to make some presentations.
Would you get their names to me sometime in the future so I can air their names?
Sure.
I like to know who they are.
Sure.
And compliment them. All right, we have about 2 more minutes. What are your plans? What are your projections for the future?
We plan to continue to work with us and have a presence in the schools to acquire more young men, and eventually we want to hopefully get a kind of rite of passage perspective and initiative with the generation of our fathers and the active men and with our sons, and kind of holistically and ceremonially acknowledge some of the achievements that we've made.
That is wonderful. We have about a minute. I want to mention this. I'm about to forget it. I'm a member of St. John African Methodist Episcopal Church.
Yes,
we have
sir.
a dynamic pastor. Have you met him, Alvin Smith?
Yes, sir.
He's somebody's preacher.
All right.
And we are starting teaching Spanish on Saturdays from 10 to 12. So you might want to encourage someone who is serious about learning the language. We really need to, as a people, we need to know the importance of starting our children young and continuing with them So we're trying to do an example there. So tell people about that.
We sure will.
Okay, now I might bring you back at the end of this program.
Okay.
Okay, nice.
Thank
Here we go. We're gonna make some juice.
It's gonna be good.
She's excited. A little bit of kale.
Please don't put this online.
I'm putting it all over the line.
It's wet. It needs something. No, it'll go.
Don't break my juicer. Looks good.
You ready to try it?
Come on, baby.
Challenge your kids to be active and eat healthy.
It's okay.
Okay, all right.
They might surprise you.
And she took another sip. You saw it?
Search We Can for more ideas on how you and your kids can get healthy together.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all living united to ensure the academic success of millions of kids in our communities all the way to graduation day. But that won't happen without you. So take the pledge at unitedway.org. Make a difference in the life of a child. Suit up like your favorite NFL players and become a volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor with United Way.
Hey, listen up. We have a challenge.
A big challenge.
Many African Americans fighting diseases like leukemia,
Lymphoma,
and sickle cell anemia can't find
marrow donors.
We need more African Americans to step up.
Step up. You could be the one to save a life.
You can be the match.
Take the first step at bethematch.org. Step your game up.
Those of you who have just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this television program here. I am interviewing mentors of young men here in the community, and I have with me Sergeant Lynn Wright. How are you today?
Yes, sir. I'm just fine.
So glad to have you. You've joined with Reverend Johnny Smith, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And
yes, sir.
You're working with him. Tell me, how long have you been working with him as a mentor?
As a mentor, it's been a couple years now. You know, I'm a part of the public relations department of the Pine Bluff Police Department. And within the last couple years, we have established summer camps, baseball camps, basketball camps, and other public relations dealing with the kids. And not only do we teach basketball or teach baseball, we teach how to act.
Character.
We teach character. We teach self-esteem. We talk about bullying, okay? And we talk about the law. And what we're trying to do is to strengthen our relationship, especially with the young black men of this community.
Right. Before they get in trouble.
Before they get in trouble. Yeah. We're trying to make them model citizens. Okay. So that's our goal, right? You know, as far as these camps.
That's excellent, excellent. We just need more of you. Mr. Reverend Smith said he has about 40 under him, and that's a great progress from about 2 years ago when he first started. About how many youngsters do you work with? You're just individual. I'm not talking about when you're in a mass group, but individual, one-on-one. You do any one-on-one with any of them outside of the police work?
All the time. I mean, you're always gonna run into someone that needs individual attention, and that's all the time.
I see.
No matter what it may be, dealing with their parents, dealing with their friends, you're always gonna have those young men or young women who need some individual attention.
I see.
And it's just on a daily basis. And I used to be the school resource officer over at Jack Roby Junior High School, and on a daily basis, someone needed, actually, even going to their home. There were some times I actually went into the home to help out.
I see.
So,
are you married?
No,
Children?
sir.
No.
I have 2 daughters.
2 daughters?
Yes, sir.
They're here in the city?
One is at University of Arkansas State University in Jonesboro.
I see.
And one is here living in the city.
What age is the one here in the city?
She's 23.
Oh, she's grown.
She's grown, right.
She hasn't gone to college at all?
She's gone to college for a couple years.
Which college?
She went to UCA in Conway.
I want you to sort of encourage people to come to this school now,
right?
Okay? We need you. We need you students here. Okay, so much for that. You might call their name and say hello to them. You're going to call your daughter's name?
Yeah, it's Kiana Wright and Brittany Wright. Shout out to both of them.
Okay, very good. We have about 2 more minutes. You may talk about anything that you might can say it might be in the line of your work. Now, what is your basic duty? What do you basically do?
Right now, my basic duty is I work within the public relations of the police department, and what we basically want to do is build our relationship with the community, and by any means, wherever it takes. My job right now, I talk to young people about basically about anything they want to talk about. A lot of safety.
Is that on invitation, or you just
mostly on invitation?
Like organizations,
right.
and church groups, and
sir.
things of that nature.
Right, and I go out also talk to the elderly people about being safe in their homes, about being safe when they're walking around, just the general and being safe.
Now, in working with the Reverend Smith, does he call you to come to talk to some of his groups? He has quite a few young people.
There are some groups he talks to, his gentleman club within the elementary schools. I sometimes go out and talk to them.
Now, why, in your opinion, do you feel that the way a young person dress will have something to do with their success?
Well, of course, I'm also a retired Marine.
Oh, you
I
are?
spent 20 years in the Marine Corps.
My God.
And so, of course, I have that military mentality. I think a young man should look like how a young man should look.
Right.
So
we judge a person by what they wear, don't we?
Yes, sir. We absolutely do.
Right. For example, you have on this uniform. Almost anybody would think you're a policeman, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah, you're dressed according to the situation.
I've been trained to think a certain way. You should dress, appropriately.
One thing I've learned from experience about military people, most of them are well disciplined.
Yes, sir.
And that
yes,
is
sir.
very important to be successful anywhere, isn't it?
It's definitely is.
You're disciplined.
Have to have discipline.
Got to have it. Let me say this for the next few seconds we have. When it comes to education, one of the basic differences between a successful person who goes to school and one who's not successful is discipline. Self-discipline. A teacher shouldn't have to always tell you to sit down or tell you to be quiet or tell you to take your cap off once you come on inside, right? You should be trained to have self-discipline.
That's definitely right. That is the key. That is the key. Self-discipline.
Self-discipline.
It'll take you real far.
All right, again, thank you for being with us today and continue work.
Hey, you going out like that?
Yeah, why?
Well, what would the neighbors think?
I see you! Come look at Mr. Feather. Look what I have. Mr. Bird, remember? Bark, bark, bark. We're just playing. We're just playing on trying to get you out of here.
Even still.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who don't need perfection. They need you.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? Leave risky driving to the professionals. Stop the texts, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Those of you who've just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this educational program. Today we're talking about mentors and mentees. We have Mr. Wesley Smith with me. Mr. Smith, how are you today?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
What happened? You joined with, I'm going to call it the Smith team, Reverend Johnny Smith. What happened? You got tied up with him in this mentoring business?
Actually, I was born into the Smith team. He's not actually just one of my acquaintances. He's actually my father.
You gotta be joking. Okay,
no,
good.
sir.
You got a good man
Yes,
for a father. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And,
so you was born into that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, go right ahead.
And pretty much his idea for establishing my life was based on the image of the black man. So a lot of things, certain agendas that he had at hand were also not just for his benefit, but the benefit of our culture and what it could do for me too. So he set a platform for me to be able to be successful and be an influence.
Excellent, excellent. You're so blessed to have a father such as your dad. All right. Now tell me a little bit, are you married?
No, sir.
I see.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm sure you appear to be past 21, are you?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Okay,
sir.
you're
Definitely
past 21. Okay. And what type of employment are you engaged in?
Right now, consider it self-employment. Right now, I work with a couple of groups, groups, I guess you would say, brought amongst by ourselves, a group of musicians. We do teaching of music and gospel music as far as our culture, what we deal with. And it's called generational sound.
I see.
Yes.
Generational sound.
Yes, and we teach music from the standpoint of how we apply it to ourselves.
Our culture?
Our culture, yes.
That's excellent. Yes. You might want to get in touch with Reverend, my pastor, Alvin. He's a Smith also, Alvin Smith.
Okay.
Yeah, he's quite innovative, and we're going to start, he said right after Easter, so perhaps next week, we're going to start a ministry on Wednesday nights. And he's concerned about young people, especially the college youngsters, and we're going to have an hour of Bible study and then an hour of worship and music and song and stuff like that. So he's going to invite different groups in. So this might be an opportunity for you to show your wares, so to speak.
Yeah, yes.
And you can never tell where that might lead you to. We have 3 more minutes before this is over. So back to mentoring, why do you feel there's a need for mentoring young African Americans especially?
Well, I grew up here in the city, so majority of my opinion is mostly subjective because I grew up here. And I've noticed a difference in some of the influences where our city has kind of changed. And trying to embed those original morals and certain disciplines that I grew up with. It's also, I guess, a certain generation that's changing that I want to appeal back to as far as how I grew up and how we did collectively.
Right.
So understanding and knowing that it takes more than just showing somebody what to do, but actually interacting and having hands-on dealing with them.
Living as a model among them.
Yes.
And I'm sure you're aware that people, the closer you are to the young people, the better you can relate with them.
Definitely.
Like you can relate with the person who perhaps is 18 better than your dad can. See, because you're closer to him.
Yes.
You can. So I'm proud to have you. We have about another minute, and this segment will be over. About how many young men do you think you have influenced? Can you kind of general idea? Kind of turn them away, keep them from going into the wrong direction?
Wow. I used to be employed here at the university, so.
What were you doing here?
A residential coordinator.
Okay.
Assistant. And due to the music capability, sometimes we would do a lot of functions here on the yard as well, on the campus. And you have a lot of musicians that come from different places, and then we also have some that I work with at the local high school.
What instruments do you play?
Mostly all percussion.
Is that right?
Percussion,
for the benefit of the community, what is a percussion instrument?
A percussion instrument is basically what we know as drums.
Okay,
anything you can strike physically
is a percussion.
Or it's a percussion instrument.
So that's your specialty.
Yes.
Can you do any of the wind instruments? You have persons with you can do them, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, then what number of people do you have? So if you come to our church, will there be a group of you, like 4 or 5 people?
Yes, it actually would be probably about maybe 9.
Do you do
9
any
or 10.
vocal? Somebody's actually singing in that group?
If needed.
Yes, you have somebody to sing in that group?
Definitely do.
Okay, our time should be just about up. So I'm so proud to have you here.
Thank you,
and you
thank
keep
you for
on doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Just do greater work.
All right.
NFC, AFC, offensive linemen, defensive tackles, quarterbacks, and cornerbacks are all working with United Way for a million little reasons. The kids of our communities. To ensure their academic success all the way to graduation day. You see, it takes about 12 years to create a graduate, but it takes the same time to create a dropout. And the difference between a kid becoming one or the other could be a professional athlete, or it could be you. Studies showed the earlier we get to kids, the better their chances. So become a United Way volunteer reader, tutor, or mentor, and make a difference in the life of a child, for the life of that child.
Give. Advocate. Volunteer.
Live united. Join your favorite NFL players. Take the pledge. Go to unitedway.org.
Wake the sun, tell him that I've begun to dream of things to come, and tell the trees not to look for me. I'm going to find some peace of mind. Wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun, wake the sun.
Those of you who just joined us, I'm Antonio Hobbs, host of this educational program. I have back with me Reverend Johnny Smith, the pastor of Shallow Missionary Baptist Church, who's done a wonderful job over the last 2 or 3 years in mentoring. Reverend Smith, sort of give us your projection. The last time I talked with you today, you were telling us what you're doing. Now, what do you intend to do? What would you like to do, your goal for the next, say, 3 years? 3-year goal.
With the Gentlemen's Club, I would like to, for us, and I understand that many years ago you came and introduced mentoring
with the idea about 10 years back.
Right.
About 10 to 12 years back, I came with the idea of mentoring African American youth, right, and encouraging preachers to be leaders in that endeavor, and you're one of them. I'm so proud of you.
All right, and I think you did a couple of seminars for us at the church, and some things I learned about the cycles of development and et cetera, and certain information that's there. And so I've been focusing on maturity.
Like the cycles of human development from the womb to the tomb, right? Every 7 years.
Yes, sir.
Every 7-year cycle.
Right.
I'm glad you remember that.
So and then the maturity of men, as we talked about, compared to females, and the maturity level that gives us the respect and dignity that we really need. But one of the things I hope to do and want to do with continue working with you and others is to develop a curriculum that we can use. We have in our schools.
A mutual one that we can use. All of you can work on the same.
On the same.
That's what I'm praying for. I'm praying for that you will come together at some point and put a curriculum that you be all working on one accord.
Yes, sir. And so be able to address them relative to, again, our culture, the dignity, and really prepare our boys for manhood.
Yes.
And I think that's particularly what seemed to be lost in the fact that our sons really believe that they are born and they live for the moment, they live for what's present
immediate
now,
pleasure,
immediate, and not prepared to become the proudful and dignified and respectful man. And so they accept those stages that they go through in order to be the best man that they can be. So implementing that at an early age and at the original stages as it relates to their development, their maturity, the respect, the responsibility of men.
Let me say this, that's wonderful, and I hope that you will involve in your curriculum what I'm about to say. Young men need to understand the role of a mature man.
Yes, sir.
A man is a provider.
Yes, sir.
For the woman and the children.
Yes, sir.
He is a provider. And it's very difficult to provide anything if you don't have any education or have any skills to earn money.
Yes, sir.
You gotta have money. And the second thing, he's a protector.
Yes, sir.
He's a protector. And it's so difficult to do that if you do not have a male model.
Right, sir.
I don't care how much love the mother has for her son, she cannot teach him to be a man because she has no experience. Right?
Right.
She has no experience. It's not her fault, she has no experience. She just cannot do that. So you men, we must tell these youngsters and show these youngsters the importance of first preparing themselves.
Yes, sir.
Now, if you were mentoring a young man, what would you, we have 2 more minutes, what would you tell, how would you tell him to prepare himself to be able to provide and protect his woman, which should be his wife, and his children? How would you tell him?
I would try to get him first to focus on the fact that he's in a stage of becoming a man.
Becoming, okay.
A man, and that men are made, they're not born.
Okay.
And so to accept the process, if he doesn't accept the process and appreciate and respect the process, then he becomes defiant and rebellious. And then I think we talked earlier about discipline. And discipline particularly is summed up as control.
Gotta
and
have
it
control.
can be either self-control or external control.
Right.
And if you can't control yourself, then someone else will attempt to control you.
And so often, it's so often they're in prisons, they're trying to control them in prison if they get bad enough, right?
The intent is to control, just
Right.
because society will not accept us not in control, not being
Okay,
controlled.
I guess
So
we need to stop on that note. I understand we have about a minute. So again, you keep up the good work, and may the good Lord continue to bless you. I'm sure you're being blessed, because you can't beat God-given.
All right.
Right?
Yes, sir.
I don't care how hard you try.
No, sir. Thank you so much.